Opening weekend continues in the Atlantic 10. 20 miles west of the nation's capital in Fairfax, Virginia. It's St. Bonaventure and George Mason. Welcome to Eagle Bank Arena. Along with Ron Thompson, I'm Kevin Lee. Thank you for joining us today. Both of these teams looking to start anew here in the conference schedule. And both have had their ups and downs, and maybe more downs, including St. Bonaventure, who won a program record 26 games, including beating UCLA in the NCAA tournament. But injuries have been the story for them so far.
It really has, and they have guys that are adjusting to new roles for them. But it all starts with this guy right here, Stockard. He's one of those guys that they like to run a lot of sets for him. But if he doesn't get it with the first look, they'll look for him again on the back end. So Mason's going to see a steady diet of that young man all night long.
George Mason literally brings back everyone from last season. So they were picked by many to be a top 4 team in the conference. They lost their first 3. They have won 4 of their last 6, and they have 2 really good guards.
Anytime you bring back 100% of your scoring, a lot of pressure is going to be on you. But unlike last year, Otis Livingston has a backcourt mate this year in Justin Kier. Otis Livingston's numbers are down just a little bit, but not because of lack of effort. He has more options on the floor. Last game, Justin Kier, awesome game. 18 points, 14 boards, 5 assists, and check this out, no turnovers.
Yeah, very nice. Dave Paulson is the head coach of the Patriots. He led Bucknell to the postseason 4 times, including the NCAA a couple of times in his 4th season here in the D.C. area. And Mark Schmidt in his 12th season was St. Bonaventure. He's had a lot of postseason success as well, including last year's run with 26 wins. That was the best season they've had, surpassing the 1970 Final Four team when they had a guy named Bob Lanier leading them.
They were really, really fun to watch last year. A lot of experience in the backcourt, some front court guys that could really get it done. They caused nightmares in this league last year.
Our officials, Brian Dorsey, Tony Henderson, Jerry Heater, Mason in the white, green, and gold, and the Bonnies in the brown and white. And the home team gets the opening tap, and here is Otis Livingston with Jared Reuter off the high post. Donaire Marr had it, back to Livingston. Now onto the wing for Javon Green. This is Reuter, a transfer from Virginia in his first season. Marr can't get it up underneath, and he is going to be called for traveling. Easy forced that.
The officials paused a little bit on that call. The whistle came a little late, but better off getting it right than not making it at all.
Now, St. Bonaventure makes a change in their starting lineup. Nelson Caputo has the ball, getting his first start of the season. He scored 20 in the win against Mason last year. For the first time this year, Jalen Poyser will be coming off the bench. Caputo hands off to Griffin inside for the 2-hand flush, and Griffin is one of those that missed a lot of time because of injuries, working his way back into shape.
I really thought that was a great possession by St. Bonaventure. You're on the road, turn the ball over. They went from one side to the other. Everyone touched the ball, got some action a little late in the clock. Good possession to start this game off. You're going to see 2 teams that in the half court will really, really be patient. On missed baskets, Mason will look to get out after. But here you see after a lot of ball movement, penetration always goes well. You see Caputo get in the gaps, draw the attention of the defense, and then drop it off to Griffin.
Marr can shoot it. He'll play inside, outside. Kier has been on fire recently, about 19 points a game his last half a dozen. Just beats the shot clock. Stockard could do it all. He'll rebound, go the other way, coast to coast. He's their leading scorer, their leading rebounder. And it's a 4-zip advantage for the visitors. Reuter doesn't shoot from the perimeter that often, but it looks like he should with that stroke.
Reuter's one of those guys that he'll keep you honest. He's not just a low block, dig him in on the post kind of guy. He can hit that free throw line jump shot.
And the Patriots are on the board for the first time.
Again, notice the action by St. Bonaventure. The ball is moving, bodies are moving, no one's standing, which opens up Stockard on the perimeter.
And that is a clean look.
what happens, sometimes they lull you to sleep with all the passes that they make, and defensively, if you don't pay attention, they can catch you napping, and Stockard just did.
Now Livingston trying to answer. No, Stockard with the rebound. Bonnie's guards rebound really well. Stockard really can play every position. He's a forward, but he plays like a guard. And Kyle Lofton knocks down the short jumper. And the Bonnies haven't missed yet. Kyer misses the three. Livingston keeps it alive, and Green picks it up. Barr out of the corner.
One of the reasons the Bonnies have gotten a successful start this game, I really believe, is because they've been able to work the ball from side to side. You see, notice the ball movement. It doesn't just stick on one side of the court. Multiple guys touch it. They force you to guard a lot of action in the half court.
Easy, down to 7 on the shot clock. 5 for Caputo. Contested three is a little short. Kyer told me that's one of the things that he is most impressed with what he's improved this year is his rebounding ability. That one gets erased on his way to the basket by Griffith.
Griffith did a good job on the defensive end and coming over and giving help. He didn't just leave his teammate out on the island. You're going to notice the penetration off the ball. Griffin comes out of your screen from nowhere, giving his teammates a little help on the back end. That's what you call team defense.
New big man in for Mason. That's Greg Calix, who they were trying to get it to, but it's a turnover. Stockard, 2-on-2, stripped, and now Mason will go the other way in transition. Nice lead for Green, and he'll finish. Easy, doubled. There's that reversal again, finding the jumper for Stockard. No. Livingston got off to a slow start this season. He's starting to find his way. There's Green with the three off the back of the iron. Calixte back up and in. And he's been playing well.
Nothing makes the coach happier when you make a sub. Calixte comes in, goes after the offensive rebound, giving Mason another way to score. They struggled a little bit in the half court. No better way than when you miss to crash your offensive boards.
Calixte had a season-high 10 Thursday at St. Joe's.
If Mason can find a way to get some stops and get out in transition, get that transition game going a little bit, to put a little less pressure on their half-court offense.
Offensive board for Griffin. He is fouled. We come to our first break a little more than 5 minutes in. We said Courtney Stockard was going to be one to watch. This time taking it himself all the way coast to coast, helping the Bonnies to an early lead.
Why do so many homeowners start home repair and improvement projects at Home Advisor?
We know we're going to find the right pros for absolutely any project.
I love that they're local pros. I know I'm getting real reviews from real homeowners.
And with their cost guide, I can check what other people have paid for similar jobs, so I know I'm getting a fair price.
Then I can check their schedules and book an appointment online.
Did I mention it's free?
And that's the best part.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor. This is not the same old deal or no deal. We have the opportunity for the contestant to negotiate.
My childhood hero was Emmitt Smith.
I still have the same amount of hair.
Deal or No Deal, all new Wednesday at 9, only on CNBC.
Live in prime time. Which big star will have a picture-perfect ending? With the first victory of 2019, the Century Tournament of Champions. Today at 5 p.m. on Golf.
Built and sold direct to you.
We could go down this water pond. What do you think?
It's good. It's refreshing.
At Northwestern Mutual, this is what our version of financial planning looks like. Tomorrow's important, but she's only 7 once. Spend your life living. Find an advisor at northwesternmutual.com.
College basketball on NBCSN is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by U.S. Bank, the power of possible. We mentioned that George Mason was one of those expected to contend for a conference championship, picked by 4th in some blogs and articles, as high as 2nd. Not as much was expected of St. Bonaventure.
You know, when you look at this Mason ball club, they have depth now. You know, they have multiple guys that can get it done in a variety of ways. So much of the offensive load was left on Livingston's shoulders. It doesn't have to be that way anymore.
Jump hook by Oshuniyi into the game for the first time. Really athletic, impressive freshman from New Jersey. And now a turnover going the other way. Griffin will get the and one. Kept his balance, got the finish, and going to the line for a chance at a three-point play.
This is the second time we've seen solid defense lead to great offense for the Bonnies. Griffin shoots the passing lane and does the wise thing. There's a hard push. Doesn't give Mason a chance to get back and set their defense. And when you come on the road, you want easy baskets like that. You don't want to have to rely 100% on your half-court offense. We've seen a great start to this game, not just offensively, but defensively as well for the Bonnies.
Griffin cannot finish the three-point play, but it is a 5-point lead.
In St. Bonaventure, you can't really look at their record. Right now, they're 4-9. They've had tons of injuries. This team is going to be an awful lot better 5 games into the conference than they are right now. They have depth. They have options. They can hurt you in a lot of different ways. Young backcourt.
Yeah, I really think they can make a strong case that it is a brand new season. Everyone says that when the conference starts, which it does for them.
It really is, and I've seen it go a lot of different ways. I've seen teams have great pre-conference game schedules and then struggle when the conference hits, and then I've seen it go the other way around. I've seen them struggle in the non-conference and then really get it going once conference play starts.
So we saw Oshuniyi for just a moment, and this is one of the things he does. He will rebound, and he will change things on the defensive end with his shot-blocking abilities.
Well, he leads the A-10 in blocks. He's got a 7'8" wingspan, but he's not just a defensive presence. He can do some things on the offensive end. His game is slowly progressing. He changes ends, has great mobility for someone his size. This guy is going to be someone to watch in all of college basketball as he tends to mature and physically fills out.
A.J. Wilson, one of those that just checked in for Mason. He turned it over. Also defensively, we see some changes, and then changes for St. Bonaventure, including Poyser in the game for the first time. Out on the left wing, drive, reverse, hang. Stockard with an impressive move.
We've seen it all from Stockard. We've seen a nice little catch-and-shoot game. We've seen him hit the boards with a little ISO on the wing that time. He got to the rack and was able to finish. He can flat-out play.
He's got 7 already. This is Ian Boyd, who can shoot the 3 in the game. He's set up over in the corner, but going to work as Calix. Misses the jump toss. But there for the tap back is A.J. Wilson. He's athletic for Mason. Oshuniyi, doubled. Poyser gets to the basket. Shot change there. Calix helping out. Livingston coming the other way for Mason. They've trailed the entire way in the early going. Nice pass by Calix. Green is too far under, though. Mason will keep it.
Take a little look at Stockard's versatility. You're talking a 6'7" forward. Nice little in and out. Shows it on one side of the rim. Uses the basket as a defender and goes to the opposite side with the left hand. And again, when you're struggling to get your offense going, no better way than to go and get some tip-ins, get some easy baskets. Great job by A.J. Wilson.
2 really good big man athletes. Oshuniyi for the Bonnies, and A.J. Wilson, we just saw that tip in for Mason. Ball on the floor. Green is the one white shirt down there for Mason with it.
Tell you what, you're seeing outstanding hustle by both ball clubs. That ball was on the floor, and both teams swarmed to it right away. Both coaches have to be pleased with this. Nice drive right here. Takes the charge, doesn't get called, then watch. Bodies start flying all over. That's the kind of effort, that's the kind of energy that if you're a coach, whether you're Paulson or Schmidt, you've got to love it.
Tie-up gives it to the Bonnies. 5 George Mason turnovers in the early going. Lofton, a freshman, handling the point. That's difficult.
He's done a great job this season. You know, Coach Schmidt told us before the game, you know, ideally you don't want a freshman point guard to have to play 37 minutes a game, but that young man's handled it tremendously well.
And that's Javon Green taking the blow down there. Offensive foul. Watch this.
Again, watch the help from the weak side. You want that kind of rotation by George Mason. Officials did not feel that Green was set and solid. Oh, no, he did. Good. They did. They changed the call. No, that's good. You know, he came over and gave weak side help. And when you're guarding someone as talented as Stockard, one guy is not going to be able to do it. That second line of defense has to be there. Great job, that possession by Mason.
Stockard is a big man, so that's taking a blow. 13-8, St. Bonaventure as the lead. Mason with the ball, down by 5. Just over 8 minutes in here in Fairfax, Virginia. The conference opener in the Atlantic 10. For one of these two teams, Mason came off a very impressive win at St. Joe's on Thursday night. The Bonnies haven't played for a week. Poyser the other way, coming off the bench for the first time this season. Misses the open 3, but another chance up top. That's also off the mark by Stocker, but a third try now. Lofton will drive, float, and miss. How about number 4, Poyser? No. 5 is good enough, though. 5 tries at it, and Oshuniyi is there for the tap back.
Dave Paulson is absolutely livid right now. 5 offensive rebounds by the Bonnies. Credit them for their effort and sticking with it, but if you're Mason, you got to put a body in someone.
Side to Wilson, fouled. As we come to a timeout, 11:01 to play in the first half. St. Bonaventure has led the entire way so far at George Mason.
We tried 2 different real estate agents who both promised great results, but after almost a year on the market, we still hadn't sold our house. Then we found HomeLight, which promised to get us in touch with the top agents in our area. We went with the agent they recommended, and it worked. HomeLight's agent sold our house when the others couldn't.
HomeLight compares data on millions of agents, so you know you're getting the best agent for your needs.
Oh yeah, we recommend HomeLight.
Get started for free today at HomeLight.com.
Red Lobster's new weekday win menu is here. 5 days, 5 deals for $15. Get a different deal every weekday till 6 p.m. like Endless Shrimp Monday, Admiral's Feast Tuesday, 4-Course Feast Wednesday, and more. 5 days, 5 deals, $15. See you before 6.
Prestige creams not living up to the hype? One jar shatters the competition. Olay Regenerist hydrates skin better than creams costing over $100, $200, and even $400. Fact check this ad in Good Housekeeping. Olay.
For drug-free sinus relief, experience Navage, the next big thing in nasal care. Navage is the only nose cleaner with powered suction to pull refreshing saline rinse in one nostril and out the other. Navage relieves congestion from allergies and colds naturally by flushing out allergens, mucus, dust, and germs.
I used to get so congested, but Navage cleans out all the stuff that makes me miserable so I can breathe again.
Now at CVS and Navage.com. You'll love that clean nose feeling.
Kevin Lee and Ron Thompson back in Fairfax, Virginia, where the visitors from New York have jumped out to an early start in part because of their work on the offensive glass. Ron, look at this possession.
Well, they just brought their hard hat. Nothing fancy about this. They're just crashing the boards. Mason, you got to put a body on someone, give a little effort, give a little second and third effort. You see guys from the St. Bonaventure, they're just running in there, picking off offensive rebounds, and that can't happen if you're Mason, because what does that do? That gives your opponent some juice. They start to feel good about themselves. They start to think, you know what, we're 4-9, but we got a shot tonight. And you want to cut the head off of the snake right away if you're George Mason with a team on the road coming into your house. And it just doesn't happen that way. So far, the pace in this game is in St. Bonaventure's favor. I think when Mason has been able to stop the Bonnies and they've gotten rebounds, you haven't seen the hard push. You haven't seen the transition game. They need to get this game a little bit faster, and I think that plays better in their cards.
The Bonnies have missed 9 shots, and they have 6 offensive rebounds, so extra chances. And here is smooth sailing all the way to the basket for Kyle Lofton. And that's a game-high 8-point lead.
Again, where was the weak side help? Where was the rotation? Those are things that have to be there. Lofton is too talented and too crafty. He's one of the better guards in this conference, even though he's a freshman.
That was a nice look by Ian Boyd, but a little too quick for Greg Calix. And another turnover for Mason. Thursday, Dwayne Johnson and co-host Liam McHugh challenge ordinary people to perform incredible athletic challenges on the biggest competition series ever, the Titan Games. All new Thursday on NBC. Off to the basket, a little too tall for Poyser. And now running with it is freshman backup point guard Jamal Hartwell. Just 5'10", 150 pounds, but he takes care of the ball. A 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio.
Hartwell has a bright, bright future. Once Otis Livingston graduates and he's able to take the reins a little bit more, you're going to see a lot from that young man.
Boyd had a 4-point play on Thursday. Was hoping for one there. Couldn't get it to go. Hit the ground, no call. The Bonnies come the other way. A step-back 3 will not roll home for Lofton, and it's cleared by Mason. Hartwell picks up the dribble. Boyd is their best 3-point shooter at 42%. Kyer, flow to it, the right hand. That's a nice, strong toss.
Big time one-on-one move, I think, that time by Kyer. And we talked to Coach Paulson before the game, and we said, well, what's the biggest difference we've seen from Kyer from last year to this year? He's talked about his work ethic in practice, his ability to focus, and that's been a huge plus for Otis Livingston because he doesn't have to carry the offensive load every night.
I talked to Kyer for a while today after shoot-around, and he said it's really confidence. My confidence is so much higher. Even though he was a double-figure scorer last year, he really feels like he's starting to come into his own a little bit.
Well, Coach Paulson was talking about the effort and the time that he's put into his game. And once you do that, your confidence will rise. If you put the work in, you get the minutes, you get the production. And this is just a nice one-on-one move. We wouldn't have seen this move from Justin Kyer last year. It's nice. He squares up, no pick and roll. This is just a one-on-one move, avoids the charge, hits the floater over one of the best shot blockers in this conference.
I bet I watched a half a dozen of their games this year, and I really enjoy watching him play. He's getting closer to being a complete player.
You know, he does it on the defensive end. He's not one-dimensional offensively. You can't just say, you know, we're going to stop him from shooting jumpers, or, you know, he just wants to drive. He hurts you in a variety of ways.
Reuter back in the game. Triple team. Back out. Down to 2 to shoot. In the corner. 3 for Marr is in and out. But Reuter got the offensive rebound, and he'll shoot free throws. That's the second on Oshuniyi.
That possession, you saw experience versus youth. You know, Reuter just put his hips on Oshuniyi and just nudged him out of the way, put him in a situation where he's under the basket. The ball just fell right in Reuter's lap.
So he didn't play last year after transferring from Virginia, one of the powerhouse programs, where he played a little bit a couple of years ago, averaged about 4 points per game, and he said really just that practicing considerably helped his transition, allows him to feel more comfortable, to speak up and be a leader.
Well, what he does is he brings experience. You know, he's a mature kid, been around the block a time or two, doesn't wow you with athleticism, but understands how to play.
5-point game. The Bonnies have been in control. Griffin inside, back out to Stocker, lose for a moment. floater is a nice look off the glass by Kyle Lofton.
Lofton is a very, very nice-looking freshman in this conference. He's got a bright, bright future ahead of him. Has good length, has good decision-making. He can score it, and more importantly, he can guard his position. 6 so far in this one. Hartwell, cut off, finds the trailer, and Marr hangs it in. He does a lot of his work out on the perimeter. Gets inside that time. Bonnie's by 5. Peasy short on the toss. Not a good possession, that last possession by Kesey. He's not a one-pass, go-to-work on the block kind of guy. They needed to make more passes in that possession and then look for him on duck-ins.
That is a deep 3 that is over everything for Kyer. That brings us to a timeout. 7:24 to go in the first half. The visitors from New York up 5 at George Mason.
Brushing only reaches 25% of your mouth. Listerine cleans virtually 100%, helping to prevent gum disease and bad breath. Never settle for 25%. Always go for 100. Bring out the bold.
Peloton is now everywhere. Introducing Peloton Digital. Live studio classes. Anytime, anywhere, on any equipment. Peloton Digital is here. Download the app now.
Fired after a tumultuous 2.5-year reign, Manchester United begin life after Jose Mourinho. What a start for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Lovely feet from Rashford and touched in by Pogba. He has found himself. Tottenham have made their best ever start in the Premier League era. That's looking for Harry Kane.
All rise for Premier League mornings. Tottenham, Manchester United on NBCSN.
Aircraft, please identify yourself.
Oh my God.
This is Dr. Alan Hynek.
You want me to investigate flying saucers.
You don't actually believe this could be for real.
The probability of us being alone in our universe is 0.
How much evidence do you need?
Are they coming?
They're already here.
Project Blue Book, Tuesday on History.
This is your dog. He needs a walk while you're out with friends today. That's where WAG comes in. WAG lets you book a dog walker whenever you need. This is Antonio. He's great with dogs.
I've been walking dogs for 2 years now.
Plus, he's been vetted by WAG and knows his stuff.
When meeting a new dog, I always make sure they warm up to me first.
Antonio knows how to give your dog a great walk, and he fills you in on all the details. That's why you use WAG, because of great walkers like Antonio. Get your first walk free when you download the app now.
Opening weekend in the Atlantic 10, George Mason playing game number 2 after a win at St. Joe's on Thursday. St. Bonaventure trying to start off the conference schedule with a win.
Well, the best way for them to allow Mason back in this game is to play like this. One pass into the post. Kesey is not a one-pass, go-to-work kind of post guy. You know, so far they built this lead because of ball movement, multiple guys touching it, and where did it land him? Right there on the bench. And that's a teachable moment. You know, that's one of those situations where you were on the road. We know what we've been doing and what has worked. Let's get back to that. Let's pass the ball. Let's let it go from one side to another. Let multiple guys touch it until we get it in our primary scorer's hands.
5-5 with the ball. Nelson Caputo started for the first time this year, is back in the game. Stockard back to Caputo. 3 no good. Kyer rebounds. And then draws the bump, and that's a veteran play there to get Griffin off balance. Let's go back to Caputo. And I think one of the reasons maybe he started in this game was because of what he did last year against George Mason. That was one of his few big games last year, a then career-high 20. What's he doing differently overall this year?
Well, you know, he's just getting more minutes. He's getting more minutes, getting more scoring opportunities. And whenever you lose, you know, a Jalen Adams and a Matt Mobley, the points have got to come from somewhere, and he's just been one of those beneficiaries.
Reuter forces his way to the basket to cut it to 3. Adams has been playing some with the Atlanta Hawks on a 2-way contract with their G League team in Erie as well, and Mobley's playing well in Belgium, but that's About 40 points a game they lost from
Easily, an easy 40 points a game.
They were strong in the backcourt, and then Stockard came on towards the end of the season. But right now, Mason has the momentum and almost a three-point play.
Mason did a really good job, I thought, at getting a stop and then pushing it hard in transition. Once they've started to do this, this is what's been able to get them back in the game. You see the hard push, nice little hezzy that time by Kyrie, gets all the way to the basket and is able to take the hit. If they can start to generate their transition game, get a little bit of rhythm, not necessarily in the half court, but from a defensive stop out in the passing lanes, from a defensive stop out in transition, that helps give your offense in the half court life.
Second foul on Ladarian Griffin. Reuter out, Calix back in. One more free throw for Kyer after he missed the first. Got the second. He's a good free throw shooter, 78%. And it's a two-point game, as close as it's been since the opening moments. It was 9-2 to begin this game. It's an 8-2 run right now for Mason. Caputo down the elbow, won't go. Barr, cut off. Kyer can reset, plenty of time on the shot clock. Impressive step back, and Livingston gets the jumper to go.
Bad sign for St. Bonaventure. So far, that's Livingston's first basket of the night, and you got a tie ball game, and your best player hadn't even gotten going yet.
First time it's been tied. St. Bonaventure had led the entire way, but they get it right back off the soft pull-up by Lofton, who has 8.
It's hard not to like this freshman. You see he's poised. He understands how to run a team. He gets after it on the defensive end. Whew, a lot to like.
Bonnie's by 2 with the ball back. Moreau is in the game. He shoots the 3 out of the corner and misses.
And right now, Mason, this is when they have to push. You need some wings running. You need a little bit more of an effort from a stop to the hard push and transition. But if they can get some easy baskets, St. Bonaventure will definitely be back on their heels.
Green, baseline, does it again. And we're tied again at 21.
You know, when you watch both of these teams, they both have multiple guys that can score the ball. So from a defensive standpoint, you can't exhale. You can't breathe because your guy potentially can get a bucket.
I think both, as Bonnie turns it over, would love to have a go-to guy, but that's the other side of it. You've got a lot of options. And now an offensive foul gives it back to St. Bonaventure. Well, early on, the game was in control by St. Bonaventure. Mason on the run now, tying it here in the last few moments.
The hottest new razor is taking the men's grooming world by storm. And if you don't have it, you need it. Micro Touch Solo, the hyper-advanced full-body razor that trims, shapes, edges, and even shaves with micro precision. And it's totally safe to the touch. Go solo for full body control with one tool. No nicks, bumps, or ingrown hairs. Edge beards and goatees with one touch. Clean your neck, barber shop perfect. And check this out. Snap on the guide to tame growth and perfectly shape your full beard. And keep new growth stubble trimmed exactly to your style. And look, the Solo Full Body Groomer trims precisely the length of hair you want. Snap off the guide and remove unwanted hair anywhere in seconds. What makes Solo different than your ordinary razor? Dual-sided German stainless steel blade. Shave up or down at 200 microstrokes per second. The Ultra Flex pivoting head contours perfectly to you for precise results. 3 custom grooming guides for control of exact length and shape. And a built-in LED light, so you never miss a spot. Solo is so precise, you need no creams, no soaps, and no water. Ditch the old man clippers and toss the scissors. You've got to go Solo. Call 1-800-570-8921 or go online at microtouchsolo.com and get yours now for only $19.99. Complete with German stainless steel blade, pivoting head, built-in spotlight, and 3 custom grooming guides. Everything you see here for just $19.99. The all-new MicroTouch Solo Full Body Groomer. The one tool that does it all.
St. Bonaventure led early 17-9. It's a 12-4 George Mason run over the last 6:45. And it is a tied game now. One of the reasons we've talked about St. Bonaventure is just 4-9 this year is because of injuries. And these aren't just guys that help a little bit. These are key players that have missed significant time.
And then once you come back, you got to get in shape. Then you have to get your timing down. And you made a great point. They aren't just guys on the roster. These are guys that play a significant role in the success of this ball club. That's why I really think that 5-6 games into conference play, this team is going to look totally different.
Dominique Welch, a 6'5" freshman who averaged 30 points a game in high school last year and started the first 4 games of the year, is available today. He's been practicing in the last week, and we think he will play if the game dictates it at some point for the Bonnies. Shot clock down to 2. Floater will go. Kyle Lofton somehow found a lane and got that one to go in. He's got 10, and the Bonnies are back up by 2.
Kevin Lofton was behind the basket on that drive. Big time finish.
Now Livingston out of control, but he is going to get the benefit of a reach-in. And Lofton has scored the last 8 for St. Bonaventure. There's Dominic Welch.
You know, itching to get back in the flow, itching to get his timing down a little bit. Got a few minutes so far in this game. Expecting to get a little bit more as time goes on.
He's a shooter. Livingston leaves it in nicely for Marr, but there are too many brown shirts in there, and it's a tie-up.
Good energy from both ball clubs defensively. You know, both teams give you a lot of action to guard against in the half court. When there's been loose balls on the floor, you've seen bodies flying all over the place. When conference play starts, things go up just a little bit, Kevin.
No doubt. Much of an advantage for George Mason already having played that first conference game. How does that impact things?
You know, you got your feet wet a little bit, you know, and which you need. You know, the Bonnies coming off a really, really tough loss to Syracuse, another tough loss to Northeastern on the road. You know, they wanted to get back in the flow of things. But Mason is already out of that gate.
Livingston can't really beat the shot clock. Hoists up a prayer that comes up well short.
You know, a lot of credit has to be given to Kyle Lofton, I think, from a defensive standpoint, the job he's done. He's scoring the ball, and on the defensive end of the court, he's giving Livingston all he can handle.
Late stages of the first half. Bonaventure by 2 at George Mason. Stockard. Now a turnover. Mason can tie it up, still looking for their first lead of the game, rumbling to the basket. Kyer can't get it to go. And now it's going the other way after a foul on Mason. It's on Greg Klixt. Well, coming up, our halftime report in just a few minutes. Jimmy Roberts will update us on everything, including the Atlantic 10 schedule. And also NFL playoff football as well. The Eagles and Bears in Chicago. We had one really good one and a second good one yesterday in the NFL, depending on what your perspective was in the Indianapolis-Houston game. Those in Indianapolis enjoyed it immensely. Stockard with a 3, no. And at the 2-minute mark, another chance for Mason to take their first lead if they can hit a 3. Livingston, though, is going to get picked. Griffin coming the other way. Right back to Griffin, who will toss it in gently. Nice lob by Lofton.
And I thought it was a great job by Griffin not trying to force the dunk. Sometimes if it's not there, treat it like a rebound. That time he just guided the ball in.
Griffin has 6. Another one of those working his way back in condition after missing so much time.
His length, his athleticism. Griffin is one of those guys that you don't have to run a play for. He just finds a way to be successful just with his energy.
Clicks down low. He'll reverse it and get it to go with the foul. Free throw coming up at first. Let's go back and look at the turnover and the basket.
And that's what you want. You want to turn solid defense into easy offense. Bonnie's doing a great job in this game so far at that. And then here you see the ball movement, getting it inside to the big fella. Greg does a good job at going to the other side of the basket away from the defense.
Calix is one of the few true post players for the Patriots.
Earlier in this game, the Bonnies, I thought, were having their way on the boards. And right the minute that started to happen, you saw Coach Paulson go to the bench and say, Greg, get in there.
St. Bonaventure by 2 with the ball. Chef Gulakalandi is in the game. Now he's over in the right corner. Stockard lobs it in. Griffin going to work with some contact. No foul. Miss. Rebound coming the other way for Mason.
A lot of contact on that last drive. Griffin really wishes he was at the free throw line right now.
Marr, 3. No. Mason continues to struggle from the perimeter. They hit 15 threes, one off a program record on Thursday night. Struggling to buy one here in this one. They have missed all 11 threes so far.
Again, your penetration is what you want. But I really thought that position, Boyd wasn't balanced at all when he went up for a shot. Fortunately, Clicks did a good job at crashing the boards and able to get to the free throw line. You know, especially when you look at the last game that George Mason played. Awesome display of defense, stopping St. Joe's. They held them scoreless for 6 minutes of the game. For 6 minutes, St. Joe's couldn't score the game. Their penetration, their kicking was good. They were knocking down shots. Today in the half court, sputtering just a little bit, Sometimes you think it's going to be just as easy the second go around, and you forget why things happened so well for you in the previous game. Once they get back to that, once they get out in transition and get this crowd involved, things will start to turn just a little bit for the Patriots.
Neither team shooting very well. Even with that make, Mason is now 4 of 8, now 5 of 9 from the line, while the Bonnies have missed their only free throw attempt. And combined, these two teams are 1 of 22 from three-point range. Timeout. Just a little over a half minute remaining in the first half of George Mason.
Quiet. If we make a mistake here, we could just do it over. But retirement planning isn't like that. You might not get a second chance to do it right. Personal Capital can help with a retirement planner that takes the guesswork out of retirement. Join for free. You'll get all these free retirement and investing tools. Plus this free guide, 65 Ways to Retire Smart. It's packed with tips to help you plan, save, and invest for retirement. Join for free at personalcapital.com/TV.
Kyle Lofton has made a difference so far for St. Bonaventure. The freshman point guard who averages 14 a game already has 10 so far in this one. The Bonnies and George Mason tied near the end of the first half.
But Kevin, you know what I think is more impressive than the 10 points that he already has is the job he's done defensively so far on Otis Livingston. You know, we're talking about a first-team all-conference player, a guy that can put up huge numbers for George Mason. He's kept him in check with only 2 points so far this game. So that young man is doing it on both sides of the ball.
About 5.5 seconds between the game and the shot clock. I assume they want to take it all the way down and give Mason very little time.
And that's exactly what you want to do. Look for a high ball screen. Look for a shooter to come up maybe and get some action at the top of the key, and then look for them to go for there.
So a weave up top. Now Stockard will shoot with 6 on the shot clock. That gives George Mason 10 seconds to get the final look and try to capture their first lead of the game. 2 seconds and a half. Boyd up top. Get it! 3 at the horn. Their first 3 of the game gives the Patriots their first lead of the game, and it comes at the halftime horn.
Mark Schmidt told us before the game, this guy Boyd can flat out shoot the ball. They were going to have to do a good job on him. The clock's winding down. Nothing seems like it's there. Boyd just makes a big-time individual move, raises and nails it at the end.
Coming off a season high 15 on Thursday, Boyd hits the triple.